What's up, y'all? You're listening to the Extra Point College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Carnes, joined as always by my co-host, Daniel Hammock. Daniel, it is bowl season part 2 tonight, so we're going to go through, I lost count. I think it's 15 bowl games. The number changed earlier, so I think it's 15 bowl games tonight that we're going to go through. So we're going to go from the New Orleans Bowl all the way through the Texas Bowl next week. We did our first round last week. I'm sitting at 7 wins. Daniel, you're sitting at 6 right now, and we're hoping to improve those records with part 2.
Yeah, I need some improvement. I picked, like I mentioned to you, I picked Jackson State to lose on the show last week. And then at last minute on my actual Bowl Mania, I swapped it because I realized that everybody was playing, and I just and then NC Central ends up winning. So I feel, a little defeated. Bowl season can get that way. My, advice to everybody, you got to go with your gut and just stick with it. I'm going to try to take my own advice.
Hey, and actually, dude, okay, I didn't realize how many people were in our group here. 26 people in our college Capital One Bowl Mania group on ESPN. So feel free to join. Go to our social media at the Extra Point Pod. You can find the links there to join our Bowl Mania. You're not out of it yet. 12 games have happened. I will say, I don't know who Bowl Me Over is, but they're 10-2 so far. I'm 8-4. Toledo just went final. 10-2. That's amazing. I'm trying to find out who this is. Do you know who it is?
I'm looking now.
Anyway, we'll figure it out. But Bowl Me Over, 10-2, quite the hot start. So let's go ahead and dive in, Daniel. We've got a lot of games to get to tonight. I'm going to be honest. I think the trick to bowl season is vibes. I know we missed on some vibes last time. And here's the thing. Last week, made the fatal mistake of thinking that the Bahamas Bowl was in Hawaii. So I think that messed up the vibes last week. But we're gonna get that right tonight. We're gonna get that right tonight. Yeah, I made the mistake. You caught me on it. Very funny moment. I went back and listened to it. Just a great moment. It's even funnier on podcasts because you can't see my face. It's just a silence for a second of trying to figure it out.
I think you, looking back, watching the actual, watching on YouTube, I looked at my face and I'm looking down, frantically
You're trying to make
searching,
sure.
And I'm like, I just want to catch us if something's going on. And you're kind of looking at the camera like, Daniel, you're not acknowledging the words that I'm saying. Am I boring you? I think that was the look you were giving.
Gosh, yeah.
And so anyways, I was like, I just had to get that information to be sure.
Oh, man. Well, we're going to get that right tonight. That's for sure. Daniel, let's start with the New Orleans Bowl. South Alabama, a 4-point favorite against Western Kentucky. As a reminder, we are just picking these games straight up, but I'll mention the point spread because we talk about it all year. But South Alabama, the Jags, are 4-point favorites against Western Kentucky. Where are you going in New Orleans?
Yeah, I think that South Alabama has had the better year this year. Looking like a little deeper at this, I mean, Bradley, their quarterback, has had a good year. 25 touchdowns to 10 picks. You'd like that to be a little bit better, but having a 1,000-yard rusher in Webb, I think that LaDamian Webb, he's a junior this year, 13 touchdowns, 1,000 yards rushing. I think they're going to rely on the ground game. I think that they're going to overwhelm them with their physicality. Western Kentucky's a little bit more air raid in their concepts. You can tell by their pass yards. I mean, the 4,200 yards passing and 36 touchdowns. So they definitely air it out a little bit more. But I think that South Alabama's defense and their run game is going to give them the edge in this one. So give me the Jaguars.
Love it. I'm also going to go with the Jaguars. Amazing season for the Jags this year. Coming into this year, coming off a decent year last year. They were a bowl team last year, really improved, but this year to go 10-2, really impressive season. But again, like I said, this is about vibes, and I just think South Alabama is basically an extension of New Orleans. Just that whole coastal, non-Florida Panhandle area down there. Just an extension of New Orleans. So give me South Alabama in the Jacks in the New Orleans Bowl. Let's go to the Armed Forces Bowl. We've got Air Force and Baylor. Baylor, a 4-point favorite against the Falcons of Air Force. Where are you going to the Armed Forces Bowl?
I mean, if it's the Armed Forces Bowl, you should take the Armed Forces, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
I think that's the move. Also, shout out to my cousin Bo, who went to Air Force and is a pilot. He does pilot things like flying planes and I'm sure, other stuff. But shout out to Bo. Give me the Falcons of Air Force.
Yeah.
Lay whatever points. Actually, they get points. You don't have to take points. But nonetheless, Air Force over Baylor.
Yeah, this is the Armed Forces Bowl. Air Force is playing in the Armed Forces Bowl. Yeah, give me the Falcons, man. Those are good vibes, Daniel. So Armed Forces Bowl, take the Air Force Academy. Take plus the points. You're not going to need them. They're going to win straight up money line. So
yeah,
the Independence Bowl. You've got Houston. You've got Louisiana. Houston, a 7-point favorite in the Independence Bowl. Where are you going in Shreveport?
This game, I'm just going to come down to, I think that Houston should win. They've got, a NFL prospect at quarterback. I don't think he's like a top 3-round guy, but I think he's going to be drafted in Clayton Tune. So I think that, they're going to be able to win this game. I think they're going to try to show out in this last game of the year. So give me Houston, the Cougars, to take down Louisiana.
Houston. So Houston is in Texas, and Texas is a state that thinks they have a constitutional right to independence. So give me Houston in the Independence Bowl. See, I want opposite there because, Louisiana, Shreveport, I could go that route, but it's the independence that's sticking out.
So you did geography and vibes.
This is a little bit of both. I could have gone Louisiana. That was geography. That might come into play later. We'll see.
So vibes over geography again.
This one's vibes. Yeah.
Shout out Preston for calling us out on our geography versus vibes. I feel like there's it's like a inverse relationship. You can't have vibes if you're going with geography.
That's true. This is
vice versa.
Yeah. This is a vibes pick. I'm gonna go over on geography. You know what's funny though is UAB did win that game, so the pick was right in the Bahamas Bowl. But lo and behold, we're not very good at I'm not very good at geography, at least in bowl games. But we'll figure it out.
There could have been a Maui in the Bahamas. I just know that game was played in Nassau. So.
Yeah, that was not Maui.
There might be a Maui street or something.
Probably not. I was just way off on that one. The Gasparilla Bowl. This is back in my old backyard, Daniel, in Tampa. Wake Forest is a 1-point favorite against Mizzou. Almost a pick 'em there with Missouri. The Demon Deacons and the Tigers. Where are you going in Tampa?
I'm actually just going. I think that. Okay. I'm worried because I'm kind of going against my gut here. My gut is that I'm just going to stick with my gut. Missouri is going to win this game. I'm going to take the Alpha Nerd, and I just think that they're going to have a little something for them. I think that Clausen with that offense really is the sexy pick, and just the offense should travel and everything to Sam Hartman. But something about Missouri, I think they're going to play them tough. They've had a lot of time to prepare. And, Eli Drinkowitz, I think he's just going to have the right game plan ready. I think they have better players. If we're just going based off of that, I think the better quarterback is Sam Hartman, but the better players overall is Missouri. So the physical battle will be won by Mizzou. So give me Mizzou. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to go with it.
So, do you know what Gasparilla is in Tampa?
No.
So, Gasparilla is a festival. It is a pirate festival.
Okay.
Basically an excuse for a bunch of people in Tampa to go dress up like pirates and just go get drunk and watch a parade by the water. That's what Gasparilla is. I was caught off guard when I lived down there for a couple of years, and everyone's like, "You don't know what Gasparilla is?" And it was a sight to behold, nonetheless. So Gasparilla is all about pirates in Tampa. And here's the thing: is I think that a demon deacon is basically a land pirate in Wake County, North Carolina. So based on that, I'm gonna pick Wake Forest.
A land pirate. Are they kin to the land shark?
A little bit different. I think
Land
that was my favorite vibes pick of the whole slate. So glad we got to that one. Football wise, too, I'll just mention this one. Missouri's got a couple of guys opting out. One of them is their best player, Dominic Lovett, wide receiver. Sam Hartman is playing. There were some rumors about him transferring, but he's playing in this game, as is A.T. Perry. I just think that offense can outscore Missouri. So I will take the Demon Deacons. Now we've got, Daniel, we finally made it to the actual Hawaii Bowl. The real one. This one's not in the Bahamas. It's in Hawaii. It's in the name. Thank goodness. Well, so was the Bahamas Bowl, but I didn't catch it there last week. So the Hawaii Bowl, San Diego State, a 7-point favorite against Middle Tennessee State, MTSU, SDSU. Where are you going in actual Maui?
Yeah. So this one is tough. I think San Diego State is the better team, but Middle Tennessee State has been overlooked this year before they beat Miami. So I'm going to take Middle Tennessee State. Also, Tennessee is a state. San Diego is not a state. So I don't know why San Diego is San Diego State.
Wow. It's
a county and a city versus, I know it's Middle Tennessee State, but anyways, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, shout out. Give me the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, San Diego State's got they've got a top 40 defense in college football. I think they're going to be able to shut Middle Tennessee State down. Also, being on the West Coast, a little more keen to that time change. The Middle Tennessee State, little more used to having some good weather, so more focused during bowl week than the
Middle Tennessee State's on Central Time. That might as well be the West Coast. All right,
it's to us it is, man. That's over there. So I will take SDSU to win. I think they cover 2 in this game, so I will take San Diego State. Let's go to the Quick Lane Bowl. This one in Detroit. You got Bowling Green, a 3.5-point favorite against New Mexico State. Where are you going in Detroit?
I'm not gonna overwhelm you with this one. Bowling Green. I just think they're a better team. They've had a better year. Actually, they've had the same year. They're both 6-6. I thought they said 8 wins. They're also the Falcons. So we just take Bowling Green. Straight up win the game.
Yeah.
Less of a drive. They're in Ohio, going over to Detroit, right? So that's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. I will say that Bowling Green is one of the worst power rated teams to make a bowl game this year. They ranked 122nd in SP Plus, whereas New Mexico State is. Sorry, I should have had this pulled up. Oh, what in the world? Of course, they're not listed as New Mexico State. It's going to be like anyway. They're higher than they're higher than Bowling Green is. Both teams 6-6, but here's a little Quick Lane Bowl history. So the MAC has had 4 teams play in the Quick Lane Bowl. The MAC is 0-3 when facing Power 5 teams in this game, but they are 1-0 when facing other Group of 5 teams in this game. So I will take the MAC team, Bowling Green, playing against another Group of 5 team in New Mexico State. Give me Bowling Green to win in this game. I don't know how they're a favorite, to be honest, given where SC Plus has them rated, but nonetheless, I will take Bowling Green to win in the Quick Lane Bowl. Let's go to the Camellia Bowl. Georgia Southern, Buffalo. Georgia Southern, the Eagles, a 3.5-point favorite against Buffalo. Where are you going in? This one's in Mobile, right?
I think so.
Montgomery. It's in Montgomery. Alabama, nonetheless.
Yeah, it is. Montgomery. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to overwhelm you with this one. I'm going Georgia Southern. This is a Preston pick. This is from the heart. What do we want? Eagles 6. They've already got 6 wins, so now we need
Eagles
them
7.
to just Eagles 7 and to just stay at 6 losses. So it looks like a split right down the middle for the most part. Southern has, almost 4,000-yard passer in Van Treese, so interested there, and then an almost 1,000-yard rusher in White, so in Jalen White. So they could both pass that threshold in this game, which would be cool, having a 4,000-yard passer and a 1,000-yard rusher on the same team. Very cool thing to do. Georgia Southern. I don't think Buffalo's ready for what Georgia Southern's about to do to them. So
here's what Buffalo's not ready for. Buffalo is not going to know what to do in Montgomery, Alabama. That's
true.
You know who's built for that, though? Man, the school in Statesboro, Georgia is built for knowing what to do.
Different.
I also wrote down Preston pick. So we won Eagles' 7th win. Go Eagles, picking Georgia Southern. All right, the First Responder Bowl. Memphis is a 7.5-point favorite against Utah State. Where are you going in Dallas?
Yeah, this one I think. Gosh, it's crazy. All these 6-6 teams, they've actually got it good. It's really well matched up this year. Where it's in years past, there's like a 10-win team versus a 7-win team. There are a few of those, but Memphis, I think they're just a better team. They're obviously projected to win by almost 8. You look at their matchup predictor; they're like an 80% chance to win. And again, 3,300 yards passing this year. Has had a really strong year. Utah State has been a little disjointed this year. Hasn't really gotten off the ground. I think that they've had just peaks and valleys. I'm going to just go Memphis. I think they're more trustworthy in this spot. They have a better defense. So Memphis Tigers.
We talked about the reason we didn't do point spreads is because bowl games are random and you got to, pick out motivations. I don't even know how Vegas, obviously they know what they're doing. I don't know how they make money on bowl games because of the randomness of it. But I think Memphis being a 7.5-point favorite is telling here. But again, this week's about vibes. So Memphis has played in the stadium once this year already when they played SMU. They lost by 3. But I think that loss and that experience is going to have them ready to play in the same Gerald J. Ford Stadium again, and this time come out with a win. So give me the Memphis Tigers to get redemption in Ford Stadium and beat Utah State. We've got the Birmingham Bowl, and they could have just kept this game in South Carolina or in the Carolinas in general, but you've got Coastal Carolina and Eastern Carolina, just the battle of the Carolinas in Birmingham. ECU, a 7.5-point favorite. Where are you going in Birmingham?
Isn't Coastal Carolina further east than Eastern Carolina?
Yes, that is correct.
Not to get too geographical on this vibes show that we have going on.
You got to watch it. You got to watch being geographical.
Yeah, like I said, that inverse relationship, it doesn't really work. But I think this one's more about motivation, and I think it's kind of simple. Coastal, is McCall even going to play in this game? I know he's in the portal. Chadwell's gone, and so I got a question. Are these guys going to be motivated? Are they going to be ready to go? Um, that could turn, and it could be an extra motivation because people are doubting them a little bit. I think it's going to turn into them just having a free vacation. And I think ECU is a better team. They're all intact. They're the ones that are going to finish out their season, get an 8th win. They'd be a little bit more focused. So give me ECU, the Pirates. I guess if that's also a vibe for Mike Leach, the Pirates, got to take them, right?
So I did lie. ECU is more east than Coastal Carolina. So that's good. They got their name right. And it's also a good thing because I'm picking ECU to win. So yeah, Coastal, they've lost their head coach. They've lost their best player. This offense runs because of Grayson McCall. And yeah, I also wrote down that Pirates are trending. Leach vibes, redemption for the Leach vibes. ECU wins this game against Coastal Carolina. All right, we've got the guaranteed rate bowl, Oklahoma State against Wisconsin, and this is the only game where I did not have a point spread written down. So
3.5.
3.5.
Wisconsin is
There you go.
my favorite.
Perfect. Wisconsin favored by 3.5. Where are you going in the guaranteed rate bowl?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with fade Oklahoma State, even though Wisconsin doesn't have a coach yet. I mean, they do have a coach. I think the trajectory of just them having Luke Fickell as going to be their next head coach is enough of a boost, knowing that they got things going in the right direction. And I guess is Jim Leonard still the interim coach? So it's his last hurrah. He wants to go out on top. I think they're the better team, and then also fade Oklahoma State.
Fade Oklahoma State. We rode that. Look, it had a rocky start. All right, it had a rocky start this year, but a strong finish. That under 9 wins cashed with that 7-5 record. I mean, a strong finish. Like you lose to West Virginia to end your season, strong finish. So we're not going to stop now. Fade Oklahoma State on Wisconsin. Moving on.
Which now with that game and these others, we still got
4.
one more day of picks that we're doing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All of these games coming up, we're starting to get those name value
We got some
teams.
good games.
Got some pretty good games. Not to discredit these others. These others are probably going to be more interesting, to be honest with you, with how crazy they might be, the ones we've already talked about. But these, you're starting to get some teams that we have some blood, sweat, and tears on, that we've been dissecting more this year, that we have a little more, a little more juice to squeeze, So excited to kind of dive into this next little chapter of games.
Let us start with the Military Bowl. The Military Bowl, Duke, a 3-point favorite against UCF. I don't know where this is played. I'm about to look it up. But where are you going in the Military Bowl?
Yeah, I've been high on UCF all year. I think I'm going to stick with them. These are two very similar teams. Points per game, points allowed per game, yards per game. I mean, they're both balanced for the most part. UCF is a slightly better rushing team, about 50 more yards a game. Other than that, though, that's basically their profiles. And then obviously John Reese Plumlee. UCF losing their defensive coordinator, I don't think that that's going to be a huge deal in this game. Travis Williams is going to Arkansas to be their new defensive coordinator since Barry Odom left. I think they've got enough players to make a difference. I have been ultra surprised by Duke this year. You and I both, that was one of the ones on our accountability we talked about, but Mike Elko was coming into a bleak spot, and he turned that team into an 8-4 team. I think that he should be in consideration for Coach of the Year as well. I know that those upper echelon guys are the ones that get the headlines, like Sonny Dykes and Kirby Smart and those guys. But the job Elko did, taking over for Cutcliffe, who was just dwindling at that point. So, anyways, they've had a great year. I think the UCF's just a tad better at the right positions. And so I think UCF will take this game and win it. So give me the Knights.
The vibes picks are not stopping now. All right. Well, this is the Military Bowl. So did some research. Our stats and info department. Me did some research. In the state of North Carolina, there are 11 military bases. In the state of Florida, there are 22. Double the amount of military bases for the Military Bowl. Daniel, give me UCF to beat Duke in this game.
Didn't UCF also wear like some? No, that was the Air Force.
They had the space stuff.
The space stuff. That's what it was.
Yeah. But they've worn like the American flag sticker before, like on that helmet. But I don't think they've had a necessarily like American uniform. Yeah, give me UCF. Double the amount of military bases. They got more experience with the military. So the Military Bowl, give me UCF. The Liberty Bowl. This one's always one of my favorite bowl games to watch. In Memphis, Arkansas, 3-point favorite against Kansas. Would have loved a Missouri-Kansas game here, but nonetheless, we get Arkansas, Kansas. Where are you going to Memphis?
Yeah, this one, if you told me that these two were playing at the beginning of the year, I would have been like, that's something has gone horribly wrong or horribly right. And you split the difference. Like, Kansas had a much better year than we were expecting. And Arkansas did take a little bit of a step back, which is understandable with their schedule. But it's kind of sad because if KJ Jefferson doesn't get hurt, I could kind of leverage 2 more wins on this schedule, and Arkansas is not here. They're playing on New Year's Day perhaps, but nonetheless, you get an Arkansas team who is conceivably going to be healthy for this matchup, and then Kansas, who has been a great story this year and has been solid, but their schedule's a little backloaded. They still way overachieved what our expectations were. Arkansas is the better team. I'm not going to overthink this. Even if Arkansas has guys sitting out, like I don't know if they will. I haven't heard anything on like Drew Sanders, guys like that are going to be for sure NFL picks. But I would imagine that whoever's playing is playing hard for Sam Pittman. They're going to try to make the state of Arkansas proud, and they're going to finish this one off with a W. They're going to have a winning season, something to hang their hat on. Give me the Hogs.
Yeah, I'm going to take the team who's been in a much higher pedigree, and it's Arkansas. I think Kansas has been a great story this year, but I think their talent deficit really showed the second half of the year. KJ Jefferson, like you mentioned, announced that he's coming back for next year. Those play into some good vibes in this pick, but I think the running game is just going to be way too much for Kansas. I think the Arkansas running game really dominates this game, and Arkansas wins and covers. So give me the Hogs. Like the coaching pedigree as well with Pittman's staff, and like Arkansas to win and cover in the Liberty Bowl.
Is KJ Jefferson, since he's returning, is he first team All SEC next year coming in?
Coming in? Probably.
I mean, you're losing Bryce Young, you're losing Stetson Bennett, you're losing Hendon Hooker. Those are the only guys that I would even consider ahead of him.
You're losing Will Levis. So
Will Levis, of course.
Don't leave him.
Will Levis.
Yeah.
So I think he's the SEC QB coming in, which is awesome for Arkansas. Like he'll be voted by the.
It's like, does Bama announce a starter before the fall? Probably not. Does Georgia announce a starter? Probably
even
not.
If they do, I don't think that. I think they're going to reward him.
I'm trying to think of who would compete.
Jaden Daniels, perhaps, if he comes back, and
Will Rogers will be gone.
I think it's going to be KJ Jefferson. It should be. I think it will be.
Robbie Ashford.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Devin Leary.
Devin Leary, today. Grayson McCall, if he ends up coming to Auburn.
I think Devin Leary could be second team All SEC though preseason. I think. He was first team All ACC.
I guess Spencer Rattler. Sorry, Cartwright, that we didn't mention Spencer Rattler. If Rattler decides to return.
Hey, Rattler played 2 great games this year.
Even if they do that, I think KJ Jefferson
I think so too. I mean,
Very high on KJ.
you know how I feel about KJ Jefferson.
Yeah, we're both.
I love him.
He's what's great about college football, man.
Oh yeah. All right, the Holiday Bowl. We got Oregon, North Carolina. Man, Oregon a 14-point favorite. This game just seems too obvious to me. But where are you going in the Holiday Bowl?
Yeah, I don't trust North Carolina at this point in the season. They've kind of crumbled. Oregon, I think, has more going for it. I like their defense in this game, and Bo Nix coming back. Not that he's going to play in this game. I just think that he's going to – that kind of commitment, I think, is going to carry over. Dan Lanning coaching in the spot. I just trust them. I think with the time to prepare for Drake May and the offense and Phil Longo leaving – is he coaching in this game, offensive coordinator? I hadn't seen anything. I would assume that he is not. If he is, he's at least had, some distractions. So add that to the list. But yeah, I think give me Oregon, lay the points. We don't have to lay the points, but I'm going to lay the points. I think Oregon wins big.
I'm also laying the points. This is the second game in a row where QB comes back. It's just good vibes here. And yeah, Oregon's just a much better team. North Carolina, like you said, has broken our trust the second half of the year. I mean, I picked them to go 10-2, and they had a really good chance to do that. They end up going 9-3, 9-4 now. They get blown out by Clemson. I mean, you've got like 5 or 6 guys in the transfer portal as well, just moving backwards. So very bad vibes from UNC. So give me Oregon, lay the points. I think Oregon wins the Holiday Bowl big in this one. All right, our last bowl game we're going to pick, the Texas Bowl. Ole Miss and Texas Tech. The Rebels, a 3.5-point favorite against the Red Raiders. Where are you going in the Texas Bowl?
I mean, this is the ultimate leech game, isn't it? Texas Tech versus Ole Miss, which you could argue is the anti-Leach, but because of how close Kiffin and Leach were, kind of gives me – I feel like it's neutral. Because you had, and I think Ole Miss is the better team. They've been that for most of the year. They've got players all over the place. I'm not sure if anybody's sitting out this game. I know they've got some NFL prospects, but I mean, Quinshon Judkins, who's their best player, is only a freshman. So I would imagine he's playing. Imagine Jackson Dart's playing. JJ Pegues on defense. I don't think he would sit out. So guys like that, I'm taking Ole Miss. I think Lane wants to finish the year strong. I think that they probably do something in this game to honor Coach Leach, since he kind of impacted both sides. But yeah, give me Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels.
Is this the Texas Bowl or the Texas Tech Bowl? I think it's the Texas Bowl, Daniel. Look, in Ole Miss, we talked about it before the Egg Bowl. There's no longer this distraction of, is Kiffin going to leave for Auburn? So I think regardless, I know he stayed, but he definitely more than flirted with Auburn. There was that distraction going into the Egg Bowl. This is a chance for Ole Miss to end the season on a high note. They are the better football team. They've been the better football team all year. And I think the running game is just way too much for Texas Tech to handle in this game. And so give me Ole Miss. Give me the Rebels to win the Texas Bowl. Daniel, that was the most games we've ever picked on a podcast ever. And we did it all in under an hour. So, I mean, round of applause to you. Yeah, round of applause to if you made it all the way through all these games, and good vibes to everybody out there with your bowl picks. So, be sure to follow us on social media at the Extra Point Pod. We're going to make sure we post all our content there. We've got 2 big episodes coming next week. So we've got our bowl picks part 3, then our playoff preview and pick. So we'll dive deep into both playoff games, make our predictions for those games, pick who we think is going to win, break down how we think each team could win, and then make some picks on those. So excited for that next week. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow him on Twitter at Deep South Daniel. You can follow me on Twitter at Jacob Carnes with a K. That will do it for this edition of The Extra Point. He's Daniel. I'm Jacob.